Alright guys, if you've been following our channel, you know that we post a lot of adventures of different things that we do as a family, and wanted to provide a little behind the scenes of another part of our life here, and that is that we own a small farm that we're getting started out here in eastern Idaho, southeastern Idaho. So one of the things that we do on our property is flood irrigation. So we're just going to walk you kind of through a part of that in this video. So here is a main junction where the water comes in from across the street here. So the water comes in this ditch, comes under the road here, and then we come to this main junction, and it actually goes like 5 different ways at this junction. So center there goes all the way down to the field that's to the west of us. And then this box here runs down to another field. There's actually more junctions that go that way. And then ours is right over here. So here we have a dam set up that keeps the water from going down that ditch. I'll show you some more about those dams in a little bit. But that is a head gate. That is the main head gate that feeds this ditch. And that ditch is what feeds our property. So we'll go around. It goes about 1/8 of a mile back this way, and then runs into a corner, and that's where our water comes in. So I'll show you that in just a second. Now, the pretty unique thing about this system is it is 100% a gravity-fed system. So all of the water you see here is coming from a canal that we own shares in. Those shares are measured in inches, and we own a certain number of inches of water, and then that water is released down when it's our turn for the water. So this ditch does not always have water in it. It only has water in it when the water is for us to use, or when the next neighbors down have their turn with the water, then the water also flows through our ditch. The cool thing about it being a gravity-fed system is that there's no power, there's no pumps, there's no gasoline, none of those things to go wrong. So really, your maintenance cost is concrete, head gates, and some dirt, and then the equipment maybe to make adjustments or repairs to the ditch, because it's just dirt. All right, so if you are here on YouTube and you're learning about flood irrigation, know that our type of flood irrigation is not the only kind of flood irrigation. Some flood irrigation uses siphon pipes to siphon the water out of the ditch into the field, and other flood irrigation uses like irrigation pipe, like 4 or 6 inch pipe to run the water through, and then it comes out many little holes on the side of that pipe. But our flood irrigation, we use head gates. So I'm going to show you one of those that's in action right now. This is a head gate. So the water is coming in from the ditch through this concrete culvert and out the other side. It then flows across the field, and you can see on either side, about 65 feet wide, are these 2 dikes. And that keeps the water in this head gate flowing in this east to west direction across the field. So it kind of contains the water, and then we flow 1 or sometimes 2 lands at a time. So the term for the area of dirt in between the dike on this side and the dike on this side is called a land. Starting from the south over here to the north, our property has 18 lands. So each one of those lands has a head gate, and we open and close them using this head gate. So when we're done with this one, we'll slide that metal head gate back in the slot right here, and we will open up the next one. Look at those storm clouds, folks. It is a stormy day here in southeastern Idaho. but this is our first irrigation of the year and it hasn't rained in a few weeks. So we welcome the spring storm and we welcome the irrigation. Behind me here, you see probably the last essential piece of this flood irrigation system, and that is a tarp dam. There's two ways we can do this, really. You can put a large head gate in the middle of the ditch here that's able to take the full capacity of water through when it's open and is able to stop the water when you want it to stop. But this is a cheaper and easier solution. It's a tarp stitched over a 2x4, and then we stake it in the corners here, put some rocks on it, and as the water builds up, then it raises the water level in the ditch on this side. The ditch is pretty full, and that creates more water pressure to push the water out across the field. Once we water all the lands on the south side of this dam, we'll pull one of the stakes in the corner, peel this dam back, and release the water downstream to where we have another dam so that we can finish off watering through that set of head gates. Now you might wonder, why do you not just set a dam all the way at the end? Why do this dam in the middle? And that's because even though it doesn't look like it, there's actually a significant drop from the start of the ditch down there in the south to the north part of the ditch over here. And with that drop, if we set a dam all the way down there, we would not build a high enough water level to make enough water pressure on the south end of this ditch. So our ditch works to go in half, but depending on your drop and the way that your land is graded, you might need 2 or 3 dams to build the water level and the water pressure, therefore, in the different areas that you need. All right, I think that might be all for now, folks. If you have questions for us, leave them in the comments here. We would love to answer them and help you if looking at buying property that has flood irrigation is something that you're considering. And if you're wondering what crop we have growing here, when we bought the property, it was planted in alfalfa. So that's what we have growing. It's mostly alfalfa. It's starting to get some grass and some weeds mixed into it. But for a few more years, that's the plan as we transition this to a pasture mix in the future. Thanks so much, and I hope that this video has been helpful for you understanding the property that you're maybe looking at purchasing.